Okay. Good evening, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. This is Mossie Martin coming to you live from Sligo in the northwest of Ireland. It's not raining at the minute, but it was raining a lot, and we had a very stormy night last night. And I'm here playing tunes, a few tunes for the Neurology Support Centre. That's the charity. You should be able to see a donate button on the page. And please feel free to donate. Every little bit counts. All proceeds from tonight will go towards a little boy from Kinloch, County Leitrim, by the name of Rion. And he has a really rare genetic disorder called MLD, which stands for metachromatic leukodystrophy. And he's going to need 24-hour care in a wheelchair and lots of physio and appointments in Dublin. And so all the proceeds from tonight are going to him. And I'm going to kick off with a set of polkas called the Ballydesmond polkas, and they're from the region in the southwest of Ireland called Slieve Lucra, which means mountain of rushes. everybody. The Ballydesmond polkas from Sliabh Ruachra. Sláinte War. I'm drinking New World Pale Ale, and it's from our sponsors, the White Hag Brewery in Ballymote. It's very drinkable indeed. I'm just going to put the screen on. Oh, there's Sarah Garden. Hello there. How's things, Sarah? Can you hear it okay? Elaine Fitzgibbon, thank you so much for donating. Good on you. Joseba from Barcelona. How are you? Great. And Trudy, great choice. Thank you, Trudy. Great choice to start. Well, I love starting with polkas. They're just lively and good fun to start with, you know. That's Foley's Barn Off license. Great. Hi, Anna. Oh, that's great. You can hear me okay. Excellent. Good stuff, Elena and Trudy. Okay, so next on the menu I have a set of hornpipes. Chief O'Neill's hornpipe and the Plains of Boyle. And Chief O'Neill's is named after a guy called Francis O'Neill from Cork, who as a young man sailed the seven seas as a merchant navy officer, and he eventually ended up in Chicago in America. We're talking here the 1880s, 1890s, and Chief O'Neill rose through the ranks of the police. He became a policeman in Chicago. Excuse me. And he made it his life's mission to collect music, because he knew there was so many musicians that had emigrated from Ireland and they landed up in Chicago. And he collected tunes from them. Now, he couldn't write down tunes. It was another guy called James O'Neill, no relation. James O'Neill was from County Down in the north of Ireland, and he was the guy who could actually notate the music. Anyway, they produced these collections. The first one was called 1,850 Melodies and Airs of Ireland, and about 1,000 of those were kind of songs and airs. And there was big demand for the dance tunes, so his next collection was called 1001 Dance Tunes of Ireland. So this hornpipe is called after him, Chief O'Neill. And the second hornpipe, the Plains of Boyle. Boyle, of course, is in North County Roscommon. Concha War, everybody. Let's see. Francis Kelly has donated. Thank you, Francis. And me, Elena. Muchas gracias, Elena. And our neighbour, Hillary. Thanks a million, Hillary. And who? Elena. Amazing accidentals and shifts between major and minor. Thank you, Trudy. Ah, that's great. Let's see if I can get my video working again. So, there were 2 hornpipes, and I'm going to continue on now with a couple of jigs. First one's called the Sporting Pitchfork, and the second one is the Rambling Pitchfork. And I got this set from a fiddle player from Cork by the name of Matt Cranich. He wrote a really influential tutorial book called The Irish Fiddle, and he put these 2 tunes together. Now, there we go. There were the 2 pitchforks, the Rambling Pitchfork, preceded by the Sporting Pitchfork. And I'm just going to try and get my video back here and try and see some more comments. Thank you, Monina Fitzpatrick, for donating, and Maureen Regan. Great to see us online. And Sarah's going to get the book and see if you got the bowing right. Very good, Sarah. That's the book of Matt Cranich, the Irish fiddle book. And see if I still bow it the same way as him. That's great. So I'm going to break up the tunes with a little poem. I have here a book of poems that was written by the great fiddle player John Sheehan of the Dubliners. And he calls it Fiddle Dreams, Poems and Lyrics. And I'm going to start off with a little atmospheric one. And it's all about the wood of the fiddle and where it comes from in the forest. And after the poem, I'm going to play a tune that was composed by John Sheehan called Autumn in Paris. It's a kind of a waltz. This is called Forest Echoes. I sense a forest in my fiddle, ghosts of trees beneath my chin, belly and back of spruce and maple, on fingered ebony a bird sings. I sense the terror of the axe, slow motion fall of timber, phantom pain of tree stump, renewal of green shoots under. I draw my bow. A white-tailed horse goes galloping back where time has flown. Through fertile ground he sets a course to find where seeds of sound were sown. Rider, blur of wind-blown tunes, circles the forest round and round, to ghosts of fallen trees a nod, to spruce and maple the gift of sound. I rest my bow, the reins fall slack, my tunes are stalled within a riddle. From leaf and branch I lure them back, I sense a forest in my fiddle. Now, that was Autumn in Paris, composed by John Sheehan. The famous fiddle player with the Dubliners. And that was his lovely poem, Forest Echoes, that I read before playing it. Just to remind everybody that this evening's gig is in aid of the Neurology Support Centre, which is a support centre that was established a number of years ago here in Sligo. And all proceeds from tonight's gig will go towards a little boy from Kinloch in County Leitrim called Rion. He has a rare neurological disorder. I think it's 1 in 160,000 people have this disorder. It's called MLD, and he's going to need 24-hour care and wheelchair and lots of physio and trips up and down to Dublin and so forth. So that's what tonight's performance is in aid of. Maureen Regan, thank you. Glad you liked the poem. And let's see. Oh, that was Chris. Very good. I should have guessed it was Chris, seeing if I got the bowing correct on the jigs. That's great. And thank you, Maureen, for donating. So, what's next on our list? On the menu, I have a barn dance. I love barn dances, and this one is one of the best ones. We recorded it as part of the Dartry Céilí Band. I'm in a Céilí band here in Sligo called the Dartry Céilí Band, which is taken from the Dartry Mountains, of which Ben Bulben is a part of. And I'm really, really missing the performances with the Dartry Céilí Band, and I'm missing the company and the crack with the other members. We haven't seen each other in months. We live beside each other, but we haven't seen each other in months, and it's all a bit sad, but we won't dwell on that too much. Suffice it to say that we recorded this barn dance called Bat Henry's, and Bat Henry was a school teacher from Ballymote. I think he lived around the 1920s, 1930s, and he gave his name to this barn dance. It's a 4-part barn dance with a key change at the end. So parts 1, 2 and 3 are in like G major, and then in part 4 it goes to D major. So see if you can hear that kind of key change. Okay, it goes like this. There we go, that was Bat Henry's Barn Dance. And thank you very much, Adele, our neighbour, for donating. That's great. Thanks, Trudy Prescott, for the lovely comments. And actually, Trudy, you might tell us whereabouts in the world you are. I know you were enjoying the album, The Universe of Dernier Kusen, and it'd be lovely to know whereabouts in the world you are. Now, let's see. €141 raised so far for the Neurology Support Centre. That's great. Thanks a million. There's a couple of funny poems in this collection that John Sheehan wrote. And I'm going to read a funny one now. And I think I'll read... This one is called Uncle Jimmy. You see, John Sheehan had an uncle called Jimmy, and he had a party piece. Jimmy had a party piece which was the song Danny Boy. And at any family gathering, at any opportunity, his Uncle Jimmy would sing this song. Not very well, apparently. So this poem is called Uncle Jimmy Murders Danny Boy. At the mere mention of his party piece, Uncle Jimmy takes the floor. With scant regard for crotchet or quaver, he is airborne with Danny Boy. Free as a banshee on the wing, he takes wild swipes at the melody, blissfully outsoaring it on ascending passages, swooping unashamedly towards the bass clef on reckless descents. Goaded on by the glee of the mocking crowd, he throws Caruso shapes to an imagined gallery. On full throttle for the challenge of the upper octave, he overshoots his target by a delightful semitone. Oblivious of the trail of music debris in his wake, he braces himself for the final assault, strangling Danny Boy, note by note, as he soars into the stratosphere for a glorious crescendo. I'm not going to play Danny Boy. Be too obvious, wouldn't it? Okay, that was a piece called Mr. O'Connor that was composed by the blind harper Thurlock Carolan. He lived from 1670 to 1738, and he's buried about a mile from where I grew up on the shores of Lough Meala in North County Roscommon. He's buried in Kilronan Abbey with the McDermott family row in their family kind of vault. And I recorded that on an album that I put out last year. The album's called The Humours of Derry Nacusan, and the website is mossiemartin.com if you want to do some Christmas shopping for next year already, get it out of the way. Anyway, I'm just going to see if I can see this video again. Hang on a sec. So after Carolan, we're going to play, what's next on the list? I think I'll play something on the tin whistle to break things up a little bit. Played a couple of jigs on the tin whistle. The first one I'm not sure of the name, and the second one is called The Tar Road to Sligo. So I have here a generation tin whistle in the key of C, so it's not as shrill, it's not as piercing as the regular tin whistles in the key of D. Last night I watched the Shema Leach programme all about Mary Bergen, the queen of the Irish tin whistle. It's well worth a look if you have a chance. It's on the TG Cahir player. And hola Manuel, hola Manolo, ¿qué tal? That's Manolo from Catalonia. Screen near Ox Mountains. Oh, Trudy, you're from Screen, only down the road. That's brilliant. Fantastic. Okay. Elena, I'm at home. Yes, the acoustics are good. It's a wooden frame cabin that we have in our garden. And so I'm glad it's coming across fairly okay. This one is called Two Jigs. I'm not sure about the title of the first one, and the second one's called The Tar Road to Sligo. jigs there. Gone Anam, the first one, and the second one, the Tar Road to Sligo. Now, and when is the next? Very good. I'm going to have a sup of our beer, sponsored by the White Hag Brewing Company in Ballymote, County Sligo. This is called the Ninth Wave. That's the name of the beer. It's a New World Pale Ale. Tasty. Okay. Another poem. I want to read another poem for you, and this time I'm taking it from a book called Fermata. Now, fermata in music means a pause. It's the symbol is like a little semicircle with a dot in the middle of it, and whenever that's put over a note, the music is supposed to pause for a while, but nobody knows exactly how long the pause should last for, and that's up to the conductor to convey that. Anyway, all the writings in this book were inspired by music. It's a beautiful book published by Artisan House from Connemara, I believe. Letterfrack in Connemara, County Galway, and it's edited by Ava Burke and Vincent Woods, the great Leitrim author and broadcaster. So I'd like to read you out something light-hearted, something not too profound. Piper prepares. Okay, this is quite a short one. It's called Country Songs, and it was a poem written by Leontia Flynn. I'm not sure how to pronounce her first name. It's spelled Leontia. Leontia Flynn. Anyway, her poem is called Country Songs. Of all the emailed jokes and online detritus that ebbed and flowed in the autumn between our desktops, the best, we agreed, were the parodied country songs. Titles like, "How Can I Miss You If You Won't Go Away?" or, "If You Won't Leave Me Alone, I'll Find Someone Else Who Will." They come back to me now in these small white days of summer, and the joke is less funny, the audience reduced. The theatre sits in silence, my phony, lonely heart soundtrack. When you leave, walk out backwards so I think you're coming in. If the phone doesn't ring, baby, you'll know it's me. Okay, they were 3 reels. The first one was recorded by the Donegal band Alton, and I think it was composed by their fiddle player Kieran Tourish, and I think they called it The Windmill. So that was the first reel. And the second reel then was a composition of a fiddle player by the name of Brendan McGlinchey. And Brendan McGlinchey was from County Armagh, I believe, and he called it Sweeney's Buttermilk. And apparently he used to go to the Fla's all the time with a friend called Sweeney, and the morning after, the night before, Sweeney would always go knocking on the door of the nearest farmhouse looking for a pint of buttermilk to settle the stomach and settle the head. And that was his cure. So he called it Sweeney's Buttermilk. And the third reel then was composed by the great Ed Reevy, a fiddle player from Cavan who emigrated to Philadelphia in America, and he's one of the best known composers of traditional Irish music, Ed Reevy. Now the next tunes, oh yeah, I'd like to play a composition of Michael Rooney's. Michael Rooney is a harpist and a concertina player from County Monaghan, now living in County Sligo. He's part of the Dartry Cayley band with me, and he's a deputy principal in a school here in County Sligo, and he's composed lots of music. He's composed whole suites of music for things like the McCalla Suite, the Battle of the Books, and he's composed for the story of the Armada, the De Cuellar Suite, that's right. So this tune is from that De Cuellar Suite, and the De Cuellar Suite was all about it was inspired by the writings of a Spanish naval captain by the name of Francisco de Cuellar, and he was shipwrecked off the Sligo coast at Strida Beach, and he managed to survive. He managed to survive the shipwreck. He managed to survive the English soldiers that were going up and down the beach killing all survivors, and he found refuge with the McClancy clan in County Leitrim, and so this tune is inspired by that encounter. De Cuellar eventually travelled back to Spain through Scotland, through the Netherlands, which at that time, we're talking about the 1780s, and around that time the Netherlands were part of the Spanish Empire, I believe. So he was able to get safe passage then back to Spain, and when he got back to Spain he wrote about his adventures, and you'll find them online. It's a really interesting read, the De Cuellar story. So this tune, composed by Michael Rooney, inspired by Planxty McClancy, it's called. Clancy McClancy by the great Michael Rooney. Hola, Jimmy Scortino from Sicily. Un abrazo desde Sicilia. Espero verte pronto. Gracias por tu música. Muy bien, Jimmy. Gracias. Great to see you on. And Sarah Garden, the Ed Reevy reel, the name of it escapes me at the minute. But I'll come back to you. It's one of his best known reels. Okay. I'd like to read you another poem, if you don't mind. What will we go with? Oh, we could do the McKenna. This is one by a writer called Paula Meehan, and she calls it Two Buck Tim from Timbuktu. I found it in the granary under rubble, where the black gable caved in. A 78 miraculously whole in a nest of smashed records, as if it had been hatched by a surreal hen, a pullet with a taste for the exotic. I took it in and swabbed it down, put it on the turntable and filled the cottage with its scratchy din. Ghosts of the long dead flocked from their narrow grooves beneath foreign soils to foxtrot round my kitchen in the dusk. I'd say Leitrim in the 40s was every bit as depressed as Leitrim is today. The young were heading off in droves, the same rain fell all winter long. Eventually one old woman was left looking at her hands, while the bell boys of Broadway played Two Buck Tim from Timbuktu, and dreamt her daughters back about the place, the swing of a skirt, a face caught in lamplight with every revolution of the disc. This winter I have grown unduly broody. As I go about my daily work, an otherworldly mantra turns within my head. Two Buck Tim from Timbuktu. Two Buck Tim from Timbuktu. It keeps me up at night. I roam about the rooms. I hope to catch them at it. I want to rend the veil, step out onto their plain, spiral down a rain-washed road, let some ghostly partner take the lead, become at last another migrant soul. No, that was 3 reels. The first one is called The Mountain Top, a well-known traditional reel. The second one is called Creamer's Reel, called after a guy called Michael Creamer who used to work in farms around County Leitrim, and he always had a tin whistle in the inside pocket of his jacket, and that was one of the first tunes he always used to play, so they called it after him. And the third tune then was composed by Charlie Lennon, who was a Leitrim from near Kilty Clogher in County Leitrim, and he plays piano and fiddle, and he's one of the best known traditional musicians, and one of the best known composers of tunes. So I'm going to finish up with another poem and a set of tunes, and I'd like to say hello to Aisling Sexton. How are you, Aisling, from London? And Manolo says, next year, the three of us in Michael Collins. Yes, absolutely. Michael Collins is a bar in Barcelona, and there used to be a session there every Monday night, a trad session, and that's where I met a few friends from Spain, Manolo and Joseba and lots of others. Okay, so I'm going to tell you another one of John Sheehan's poems. The monthly clip. I think I'd like to read you one about his partner in the band, the Dubliners, and it's one for Ronnie Drew. It's called Ronnie's Heaven. What's it like, Ronnie, your new life? Is it the way the old masters painted it, floating on a damp cloud in the company of winged creatures, listening to non-stop harp music? I could paint you in, but not your expectations. Would somebody, for Christ's sake, get me down from here and show me the fountain of champagne? I thought this was meant to be a celebration. I'll paint a different picture instead. I see your spirit, freed at last from earthly shackles, soaring to a new consciousness, communicating with Kavanagh without the encumbrance of words, without the embarrassment of being barred from 4 Baggot Street pubs. All is clear now. Ulysses simpler than the Lord's Prayer, Beckett no longer waiting for Godot, and Joe O'Brien sidling over with an impish grin. How are you, Ronnie? You brought me fame at last. I heard Cleena and Phelan picked me poem for the end of your mass. But you needn't have hurried. There's no closing time up here, just one continuous holy hour. Now Deirdre comes into focus, bridging and healing a painful absence. Unhindered by bodies, your spirits embrace and entwine in a never-ending spiral of joy, leaving behind the 3 great imponderables that tortured you. What is life? What is art? And where the fuck is Barney? night, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. We've raised over €200 for the Neurology Support Centre in Sligo. Thanks a million. Thanks for your company and all your kind comments and everything. And I'll see you at an online gig again soon, hopefully. Take care. Any more comments that we need to read out? I don't think so. So, Shine, thanks a million.